If you look as broad as this, and you'd rather look as slim as this, try the AIDS Reducing Plan. Delicious tasting AIDS candy contains vitamins and minerals, no drugs. Taken with a hot drink before meals, AIDS helps you curb your appetite. You eat less because you want less, so you lose weight naturally. Thousands of men and women have lost weight on the AIDS plan. You can too. Why not try AIDS? They work.
AIDS. No, not that type of AIDS. These AIDS. You know, the good kind of AIDS. The type of AIDS that help you lose weight. I'm talking about the appetite suppressant. Remember that? Well, I didn't think so, and that's why I decided to put this video together. Should be obvious why this became a branding and marketing nightmare in the 1980s. A once promising brand, intersecting fate in perhaps the most unfortunate and unforgiving way possible. Let's take a look at the AIDS brand, their history, and their downfall following the growing AIDS epidemic. Invented by the Carlay Company of Chicago, the first use of the AIDS brand dates back to 1937, with the trademark issued in 1946. After a series of mergers and acquisitions, Pyrex eventually became the umbrella company to AIDS, before selling to Jeffrey Martin Inc. in 1981, and finally to Depp Corp. In 1987, where it remained until the brand was officially retired. They marketed themselves as Reducing Plan Candy, or more accurately, AIDS, Reducing Plan Vitamin and Mineral Candy, an appetite suppressant with the remarkable claim to lose up to 10 pounds in 5 days without dieting or exercising. A bold claim to say the least. However, in 1944, the FTC objected to this, and as far as I can tell, I see no use of this slogan or claim in any date after 1944. AIDS candies were essentially a slimming toffee cube with 4 original flavors: caramel, butterscotch, chocolate, and chocolate mint, with other flavors arriving later. And from what I've read in the comments from people that remember this product, they didn't taste half bad, which is actually kind of surprising. The way this worked went as follows. Eat a cube, wait a bit until the active ingredient, phenylpropanolamine, back then known as benzocaine, kicked in and held off your hunger until mealtime. The idea was to hold off from hitting the fridge for snacks in the waiting period to lunch or dinner. The benzocaine apparently numbed your sense of taste, which in turn minimized the craving to eat or snack. I know damn well that wouldn't have worked for me, but it must have worked for some people because they reportedly had decent sales in the 60s and 70s. The amount of money that went into marketing for AIDS candy went into the tens of millions, and it shows. There are countless commercials and advertisements all within your fingertips. Some of them are just ridiculous by today's standards, of course. Let's check these out. Too fat? Here's an easy way to reduce, says Barbara Hale. I'm really hoping this isn't the before picture. Imagine what she'd look like after.
Whoops, a crack in the floor.
One thing I do notice about these old advertisements is how they don't hold back from making you feel like trash. Too fat? Eat some AIDS, fat ass. Or this one, the fat dress. Yards and yards of loose, flowing material can cover up yards and yards of loose, flowing body. What does that even mean, actually? Like, what is a loose, flowing body? It sort of sounds like a compliment more than anything. I mean, she doesn't even look that bad. And apparently, taking AIDS not only helps you lose weight, but you also take on the persona of famous rock legend Jim Morrison. Now, let's just hope it doesn't cause you to become addicted to heroin either. So it says she went from 210 pounds to 125. Wow, 210 pounds, huh? That's huge. She must have had a rough life being morbidly obese at 210 pounds. I bet she took up one full seat on an airplane, and that's sick. Last one before we move on. This lady's presented a piece of pie or a turnover, and she holds up her hands and just says, "Easy, I'm on the fucking AIDS diet." Alright, first off, if she's plowing down on some AIDS, why does she have all that food on her table if she was just going to refuse it? It seems like a waste of money. And it's not like it's a food cart or anything, it's sitting on her table. She clearly ordered it. Even the dude in the back is just like, "You bitch, there are starving children in my basement." Anyway, let's get back to it. In the early to mid-1980s, the awareness around HIV and AIDS was growing. Maybe we should have addressed this earlier, but if you're unfamiliar with HIV and AIDS, here's a quick rundown. First identified in 1981, HIV is the cause of one of humanity's deadliest and most persistent epidemics. HIV, or human immunodeficiency virus, is a virus that attacks cells that help the body fight infection, making a person more vulnerable to other infections and diseases. If left untreated, HIV can lead to the disease AIDS, or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. AIDS is the late stage of HIV infection that occurs when the body's immune system is badly damaged because of the virus. Without HIV medicine, people with AIDS typically survive about 3 years. So naturally, by the mid-1980s, the brand began to suffer as an estimated 21,000 Americans had died by 1987 from AIDS. As the AIDS crisis was gaining steam and Jeffrey Martin Inc. was presented with the idea to change the name, an official for the company famously said, quote, "The product has been here for 45 years. Let the disease change its name," end quote. A pretty scumbag remark in all honesty. Once Depp Corp acquired the brand, they realized it was probably a good idea to do some remarketing after acknowledging the similarities between the brand and HIV and AIDS. Even having to state their product does not give you AIDS, as some people may have thought at the time. However, the rebrand was sort of put on the back burner because at the time, the product brought in less than 5% of Depp's annual sales, so as you can imagine, the rebrand wasn't high priority. They did, however, attempt to change the formula in an apparent image rebuild. They added calcium to the ingredients in an attempt to promote it as a healthier product than its predecessor, as well as updated packaging and revised ad campaigns. The brand eventually underwent a name change in 1988 to AIDS Slim. However, this was only tested out in Britain during that year. In early 1989, they did permanently change their name to Diet AIDS, which really doesn't seem any better. And as sales tanked by nearly 50% due to concern and widespread awareness of HIV and AIDS, the product eventually retired around 1993. This is simply a case of unfortunate circumstance that went beyond anyone's control. The product seemed stable, there weren't any reported illnesses or deaths linked to AIDS candy or any controversy before the epidemic like there was with the Metrical diet. It genuinely seemed to help people. It just became yet another victim of a tragic epidemic turned global pandemic that swept the world and continues to this day, known as HIV and AIDS. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely check out my Metrical diet video from around the same time. Also, please consider subscribing if you can and liking the video. I would appreciate your support a lot as we try to get to 1,000 subscribers. And if you have any ideas for new videos, don't be afraid to let me know in the comments or join the Discord and we can talk there. But for now, I want to thank you guys for watching and I will see you guys in the next one.